Here we go. More playtesting. Alright, so what are we going to do today? Today, we're going to look at defense. I think the offense is looking pretty good. All the stuff I found in the last couple of videos I got updated, and I'm pretty happy with how it looks right now. We'll fine tune some of this stuff as we get the player ratings and size, and we start messing with all that. But I think for right now, as a base for the engine, the AI is looking pretty good on the offense. We'll get into, I guess, the quarterbacking AI needs a little bit of work, and I think like the runner AI looking for holes and things we might want to fine tune. But I'm going to wait until the defense is locked down before we get into, I guess, the more of the nuanced AIs. So we're going to look at today. We're going to look at defense. We're looking at man coverage, zone coverage for man and zone coverage for sure. Spy defense, just make sure that's doing something that we want it to do. We'll hold off on pass rush, run rush, and blitz until a different video. So I'm going to try to group all those things. So, and just look at things that make sense to look at them together. So now, man coverage, zone coverage, and spy. We're going to do the 2-2-2 defense just because it gives us the most guys in coverage. It'll make it easier to see these things. I have jacked up the pass blocking, lowered the run and pass rush, so the quarterback should have plenty of time, and we should be able to see enough of the routes and the coverage in tape to get a good feel for if it's working or not. Also, speed has been increased for all the receivers and the corners. This side over here, the receiver is rated as 90 for receiving, and the corner is rated as 60. Over here, this receiver is rated as 60. This corner is rated as 90. So we can see what the difference is. This guy right here, 90 receiving, running back's 90 receiving, and everybody else, I believe, is 60 on coverage. I'm pretty sure. So we can change that if we need to. But anyway, so that's how it is. So let's just run it real quick so you can kind of see where we're starting from. These guys man up. My pre-snap man defense, what it does is it takes... oh, you know what? I just thought of this. It takes the best corner and puts it on the best receiver. It takes the second best corner and puts it on the second best receiver. So actually, this corner should be my good corner. And... pass defense. Nope, it didn't do it that way. Alright, good. Because that's what I wanted. That's the good defenders on that side. Okay, so good. It worked the way I wanted it to. Good. All right. I must have that after. I'm not even really sure. I have to check it out. I'm not sure how I have my man defense set up. I think, if I remember right, I think I have corner 1 and corner 2 always lining up on their side. And then everybody else in man coverage lines up on the best uncovered receiver, I believe is how that works. Because I used to have it so it's set up straight from best corner covers the best receiver, and so on down. But what ended up happening was, as an offense, you could then dictate where their corners lined up on which side of the field, because the right side was always the strong side. So you could always make the offense decide which corner was over here, and that wasn't fair to the defense. I think that's why I set it up that way. Because the top corners in the previous games, you could say, all right, well, I always want my best run-stopping corner on the strong side. Well, then I could just say, well, I'm going to put my best receiver over here, so now your corner goes over there, and now you have your weak corner over here on the strong side. So I think we're going to allow flipping plays this year. So there probably won't be a strong side or a weak side. So that's something that can be revisited. But anyway, let's run the play. So, reset. I've already forgot. Where's my good corner? My good corner should be over here, right? Let's look. I don't want to get this wrong. Pass defense 61. And my decision making time is a quarter second, which is actually pretty slow. So if I'm looking, he's actually pretty tight defense. Let's see what this guy looks like. His defense is really tight too. Now, something that I'm kind of a little bit worried about, honestly, is how tight this guy's defense is. Let's get this guy. Let's get this guy out of here. I don't want anybody. I just want to look at this coverage over here. So let's move these guys away. And now let's just watch. So this guy has 60 defense. This guy's got 90 receiving. You would think a guy with 60 defense would have a hard time covering a receiver making all these moves, right? So let's see. Yeah, his coverage is way too good for that. I wonder if I'm not taking decision-making time into account in man coverage, because I know I am. So when the way decision-making time works generally on offense, this is how it works. This receiver is using decision-making time to decide when to do these corners, and that's fine. What'll happen if he has bad decision-making time is he'll overshoot the corner and then kind of just go back to the next corner. And it's not a huge deal, but the routes become kind of bad. If you're a bad receiver, you run kind of sloppy routes. It's not a huge deal. Or he'll stop sometimes. Like he'll get here, and if he gets to the corner right at the end of his decision, he'll kind of pause there before he goes to the next one for like a tenth of a second or something. So what that's saying is bad receivers are just bad at running routes. That makes perfect sense. When I throw the ball, there's a certain amount of time. So let's say the receiver's right here, right? And my quarterback throws the ball, but he's not a great quarterback. So the throw is actually out here instead of over on the route. There's a certain amount of time for the receiver to recognize the ball's in the air and then break off his route and go get the ball. A bad receiver will take longer to recognize that. So he'll run this way a little bit and then be like, oh, the ball's over here. And then he'll turn back to the ball. And a lot of times there's not enough time to get there. A really great receiver, as soon as the ball's thrown, will recognize that and go get the ball. What that translates to is bad receivers missing a lot more overthrows and underthrows than good receivers. Now on defense, it should be the same. The coverage tightness, I feel like, should be based on their intelligence, but right now I don't think it is. The defender's ability to break on the ball is based on his intelligence. I know that because they both use the same AI. And the defender's ability to just break up a pass is also based on their skill. But if you look at this coverage, it does not look to me like that coverage is in any way based on his intelligence. But I mean, just another thing. I mean, it looks like his positioning is really good. This man coverage positioning looks really good. All right, so that's enough of that. Let's look at some zone. I got enough tape on it. Man coverage is simple. We don't need to worry too much about man coverage. So let's look at the defense. So safety 2 is in deep zone. Safety 1 is also in deep zone. So what we're gonna do, let's test these deep zones out. Let's take this offense and let's just delete all these nodes and let's just run a fly. We'll just run flies, some simple patterns. So let's just delete that node, and let's run this fly, and then wide receiver 3. We'll, what we'll do is we'll split the. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's run 2 guys into that zone and see what happens. But wide receiver 3 is going to get in that zone late because. Let's delete that. Let's do this. What he's going to do is he's going to screw around a little bit before he runs into the zone. And then he's going to go into the zone. So the idea is this guy's going to run into the zone late. And let's see how that safety reacts to it. And then let's just take our running back. And I don't know, let's just let him get covered by that guy. I don't really care that much about him. Alright, so let's try it out. So remember, we're looking at the safeties zone read. We'll get to these guys in a second. But we're deep pass defense for safeties is an AI challenge for every football game. I mean, you see that in all the videos, right? How does deep coverage AI work? So remember, this guy's going to try to cover him. This guy's going to try to cover one of these guys, right? Let's run it. Now, they're 60 speed. They're not great. All right. So what happened? Now, they're not fast, so I mean, there's that. But it actually looked pretty good. So the way this zone works is when he gets to the bottom of his responsibility, this guy's responsibility. So when the receiver hits here, he's going to start covering. He's going to recognize he's a guy he should cover, and he's going to start trying to get ahead of him and cover him in the deep zone. Same thing over here. Now, let's just run it quick, and let's just look at this guy. He's just in his place. Now he finds him, and he tries to get ahead of him, right? You can mess with that and cover up for slow guys or change the responsibility by messing with the zone height. So I'm not going to move him at all. All I'm going to do is change when he decides to start worrying about the deep pass. Now watch this. Right away, he's going to start covering. Now the problem here is he's slow. So he's getting beat because his coverage responsibility position is it's like a few yards ahead of the receiver. You don't want to try to cover as a safety like 20 yards ahead. But this guy's so slow that it's not really doing anything. So let's at least give him reasonable speed and see if it changes how it works. Yeah, he's trying to stay about 5 yards ahead. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, though. So let's take safety 1. Let's have him pick up his guy right away, too. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There. So they're going to pick up their guys right away and get into position. But this guy's going to be so slow that by the time he gets in, he can't keep up. Well, he's keeping up okay. This guy's got reasonable safety speed, and he's in perfect position. But this guy, and you notice he's not breaking off to cover him. He's covering the deepest zone guy. So that brings up an interesting question. How do I cover him? Let's put this guy in deep zone too. And I'm curious what's going to happen if I have 2 guys in deep zone that overlap. Is one of them going to cover the uncovered player, or are they both going to cover the deepest player? So it looks like they're both covering the deepest player right now. Yeah. Somebody's got to cover the uncovered player. Alright, so that's something I gotta do. Alright, so deep zones, the positioning feels like it could use a little work. I definitely got to cover the uncovered player if I have 2 guys in overlapping zones. Let's do a spy quick. Let's just take this guy and put him in spy. And the way spy works is you set the level, the horizontal level of the spy by just putting his zone. So like if I put him right on the line, he's going to spy horizontally on that line. So the way we're going to test that is we're going to take our quarterback and we're going to roll him out. So let's do that. So in theory, this guy should run to his spot and then, well, he'll actually won't run to a spot. What he's going to do is he's going to try to stay in front of the quarterback on that line. Yeah, okay, that looks good. Let's just do this. Let's have our quarterback do some crazy stuff. Let's have him actually run up a little bit and then run back this way to make sure that it's not, he's actually staying on the line and not, yeah, he's not shadowing his depth. Alright, cool. So spy seems to work. I was a little worried I didn't have spy AI in there. Let's change his depth and just make sure. So let's have him spy very close to the line now. Yeah, alright, so that's working fine. Alright, cool. Spy works. So zone, it feels like it needs a little work. Let's do this. Last thing, I got just a few minutes left. Let's check out the linebacker zone here. So what we'll do is we'll put both of these guys in normal zone. Actually, we'll do one under zone. And we'll do the other one in over zone. And just kind of compare what the coverage looks like for them. And on the offense, what we'll do is we'll have the running back go into this guy's zone. We'll kind of have him run through the zone. Or no, actually, you know what? Delete. We'll have the running back go in this guy's zone. And just kind of run through the zone. And we'll have the receiver 3, do the same thing, I guess, to this guy's zone. Alright, and we'll see how they cover it. Alright, so what should happen, actually, you know what, let's do this with wide receiver 3. Let's have him go way out here and then do his zone, go through his zone that way. Because I want to give this guy some time to get to his zone position. And so he gets there. Then he picks him up as he runs through. Alright, so the zone looks like it's working fine. He's on his zone. Alright, so they both cover. They get, so the way, these are working right. Alright, so they get to their spot. This guy's zone is below him. This guy's zone is above him. They get to their spot, and then they do their coverage. What I'm interested in for this guy is it always going to be over coverage, or will he cover underneath? Let's see, let's watch. So his zone's not big enough. I gotta give him more zone. That receiver clears his zone too quickly. Let's open his zone up a little more. There we go. Alright, so he's over. But I think that's because this receiver is too fast. He's not giving him time to get to his position. So let's do this. Let's slow him down a little. Alright. Don't throw it there. Yeah, see, my pass AI needs a little work. Alright. Alright, so he's covering on top. Are they both covering on top? wonder if there's any. So what I would have thought was this guy would come down here and he would cover shade like underneath the guy, but he's not doing that. Maybe maybe it's because he's not getting there. He's not getting to the position yet. So let's do this. Really, these underzones are, there's not a ton of reason to use them, but I kind of put them in there because it's nice to have. Oh, reset. Fair. Run. I think that receiver's route's too close to the end zone. Or to the out of bounds. There we go. Now he's always going into over coverage. I want there to be an option for, basically, if I take, what I want there to be an option for is basically something like this, where like the defender kind of shades the guy. Well, no, maybe I don't, because if you're in zone and you're doing it underneath and then the receiver takes off deep, you're screwed. So I think that's why I changed, because I used to have a zone where basically the under zone did that. The guy would shade underneath, but then if you had routes that went into somebody's zone and then the receiver took off and did like a post, it was like a guaranteed touchdown because your guy playing zone is underneath. Yeah, that's why I removed it. I have everybody playing over zone, and it's just a difference of how tight is the zone going to be. Like sometimes some defenders will give a little more cushion than others, but that's why they're all over zone. I remember that now. Okay. All right. So, one last thing. One last thing. So what if? Let's change plays. I want a running play. I don't have a running play. Okay, let's make a new play. There's one last thing I want to try. Make this a run. I'm going to have the runner be the quarterback. Boom. 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 Okay. Quarterback's the runner. What does spy do with that? Let's see. Spy. Prepare. Run. So spy. Oh, he got blocked. Dang it. Alright. Let's do... What should I do? Let's just spy up a little higher. He's up. He's coming. He got blocked again. No. Oh, he's trying. Let's do this. Let's put the safety in spy too. There we go. I'll put two guys in spy. Alright, so he's following. And then soon as the runners... Okay, so that's working as I intended. It's just the defense is not nearly as good as my offense is right now. What's happening is... Oops, reset. They're spying until the runner commits to running, which means he gets to the either the end of his route. So if I take the quarterback and I move his route up here, so when he gets to the end of his route, they know, oh, he's a runner now. He's not just rolling out. I'm gonna go get him, and see, they start dive in and start trying to get him. Or when the runner breaks the line of scrimmage, they realize, oh, he's a runner, not a quarterback, so I am done shadowing. Now I got to go get him. So spy seems to be working good on running plays too. All right, so that's good. I found some stuff I got to fix and update and tweak. So I feel pretty good about that. Overall, successful video. So I'll see you next time.